Namaste, sir.
Namaste. I think your father has joined already, Srikanji, before you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Namaste.
Namaste, Amma.
Namaste.
Om Sadashiva Samharambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nityananda Sukham Padam Suvimalam Nityananda Sukham Padam Suvimalam Praptum Samiha Yutaha Sarve Janma Vritas Sadha Vyasanina Sarve Janma Vritas Sadha Vyasanina Tatstana Sammarghani Evam Satyapi Sadhya Sadhana Yugam Evam Satyapi Sadhya Sadhana Yugam Samyang na jananti te na prapta aduna pisaukya padavim swabishta rupam yata. So just a quick recap of the first one. So the author here takes us on a journey called Jiva Yatra. So the journey of life. And very beautifully, he, within 9 verses, he establishes how a person should have priority in life and how a person should lead one's life. What are the different means by which one can acquire this ultimate goal? So he compares the yatra to a train journey where the destination, the person already knows where he's going. But then one can go by different routes depending upon one's convenience. Some will go direct route. Someone will take multiple routes. They get off at various places. They enjoy the particular place of interest. Then they like it, they stay there for a long time. Then they say, let's continue next. So he establishes here in the verse that Nityananda Sukham means this, every human being is only after Ananda and Sukham. Sukham means comfort. So one has to be comfortable, and every human being, whichever howsoever be the person, the fundamental requirement for a person is to be happy and comfortable. And he is asking for or seeking for Nitya Sukham. He doesn't want Anitya Sukham. And this Sukham, we also saw it is Suvimalam. That means that which is pure. So it has got no dirt, or it is free from all sorts of impurities. So whether it is a person who, a beggar also seeks happiness, a rich man also seeks happiness. So happiness is something which is fundamental requirement for everyone. And here establishes the fact that the happiness which we seek is always connected to an object. In reality, you are actually loving the object because you want happiness from the object. As long as the object gives you happiness, you will be connected to the object. The moment that object ceases to give you happiness, you no longer want to be connected with that object anymore. So as the object here, it means everything, whether it is property, whether it is shares, whether it is your own son, daughter, wife, husband, children, car, anything which gives you happiness is you're connected only to the extent of what it is. The moment the object starts to give you less happiness, what do? You either ignore it, or you dispose it of, or you move away from the object. Same way, the person who is also connected to you, the object also happens to be a jiva, physical person. He is also in the same way connected to you for his own happiness. So he also will be binding to you, he'll be only clinging on to you as long as he thinks that you are a source of benefit to him. Like in Bhaja Govindam, we saw very clearly how the person, throughout his life, he earns a lot of money. He works very hard for his children. And then he saves a lot of money for the children. And the children also know, now the relatives, people are there, they know that this person is a wealthy person. He has accumulated a lot of money. And they respect him when he had a lot of money. So they will come and talk to him, respect him, take him out, treat him well. Hello, sir. All these things are there. But when the person is actually on the deathbed, or when he's not able to do anything, and when the person is spending his money and he cannot, so people are after him for the money. And the money, he doesn't want to give it to anybody because he is holding on to what he has earned, because he has to look after his own requirement. So when the person knows that you are not useful to him in any way, they will not come after you. They will just leave you, which we see in current in Australia also. You see many of the people here, the old people, they wanted to go to retirement homes because the father and son, the son cannot manage it. They do not want to be part of anything. There are some who still look after him, but there are many of them who are, you go to any of the retirement homes and you see them when you go into the place, they want to talk to you. They want to talk to you. They want to, if you just happen to say hello to them, please come and sit. They will ask you because they are used to living alone in the room, TV, having nurses taking them around. Their life is loneliness. So they are also interested. So the same way is here also. That everyone, sarva janme britaha, anyone who is taking birth, anyone, always sadha means always, vyasaninaha means they are making effort. So they are always making effort. It's not that they are not making effort to know what they want to know. They are making effort. But the effort is not in the right direction. The effort is not in the right direction. The effort is not in the right path. Because they themselves do not know what they are after. The sadhyam, or the achievement is not clear. So when the sadhyam is not clear, sadhanam will not be known to you. Somebody will say, sir, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita every day. I'm reading Upanishad every day. I'm doing so much of Parayanam every day. I'm chanting this mantra. I'm doing all this puja, upasana, meditation. But still I'm not able to get it. Because the effort is there. But the effort is not in the right direction. So the effort for anything to be achieved, first of all, there should be a sadhyam. There has to be a goal. And the goal has to be matched with the right objective and the right methods to be done. And it has to be consistent, correct? That's what it says here. Sada vyasaninaha means always busy, always doing effort. And tatsthana sammarghane means those people are following the method, they are following what they're supposed to do. They are doing everything what they can. But the results are not coming. So, evam satyapi sadhya sadhana yugam. Correct? So, even though they are seeking what they want. What is they want? They want happiness. So Nityananda Sukham Padam Suvimalam. This is what they are seeking for. Whatever activity you do or anyone does, they are seeking only happiness. There is nothing else there. In the class I told you last week also that a person who is drinking also, who is a drunkard, who is a drug addict also, he also seeks happiness in getting drunk. Because he finds happiness in that kind of a scenario. So even if somebody says, I want to always be unhappy, even when he's unhappy also, the happy word is there. So you cannot have anything without happiness. So happiness is something fundamental. Whether you like it or not, happiness is something what you're seeking for. Whether you are sad, whether you are, even sadness also, you want to be happy. Right? So this is what he's making a very point very, very clear here, that this has to be understood, that ultimately we are all here only for happiness. And happiness, Sukham, is of nature of Nityam. And Anandam, it should be limitless Anandam. We do not want any small doses of Anandam here. Correct? So we are making efforts. Sarve Janna Brita Sada Vesaninaha Tatsana Sammargane. So the Margam or the route also to some extent he understands. But it is not very, very clear as to the route he is following is correct or not. So Samyantam Jananti Te. So despite knowing all these things, still they are not aware, they are not very clear. So na jananti means the person is still doubtful, not very clear about the goal. So somebody will say that I want to study Shastra. And by studying Veda, I'll be able to go there. But go where has to be understood. One has to first have a goal that this is where I want to achieve. This is what I want to ultimately, all these things I'm doing is for understanding my own discovery of my own true nature. I'm not a human body. I am this consciousness. I am this happiness. I do not need to go anywhere to such happiness. I am happy with myself. I do not need another person to make me happy. Because the moment somebody else makes me happy, I'm dependent on that person, object for happiness. And that person is going to go away. Object will leave. So how do we arrive at this? That's what it says here. Even though evam satyapi sadhya sadhana yugam. So people know sadhyam. They also follow some methods. Sadhana yugam. Samyang jananti te. So still they are not very clear and they are not aware about it. And what he's saying is adunapi na prapta. So even today they are not able to achieve. See, adunapi means what? Even today, or even after so many years, so many efforts people are doing, they are not able to achieve. Na prapta. So prapti means what? Attainment. Na prapti means the person is not able to attain despite putting so many efforts. Right? And what is this effort? Saukya Padavim. So Saukya Padavi means status. Padavi means status. And Saukya Padavi means what? Where the status where you want to be recognized, happy. So Saukyam means that you are safe. You are not dislodged from anybody else. So if you are a politician, what do you expect? Do you expect happiness? You expect happiness in the position, right? Someone should salute you 24/7. When you walk out, you will be garrowed with people. If you're a film star, what do? You want to be popularized. You want media to follow you. You want a lot of money. You want to be known in all the magazines. So anybody you take, they get happiness in that status where they are recognized. And the recognition is very important. If it is not there, then what do they feel? They feel insecure. That's why it says here, na prapta adhunapi. So despite doing all these things, they are still feel insecure or they are not very clear and they are not able to attain what they want. What is it? Swabhishta rupam yataha. So the Swarupam or the real nature of one's own self is not yet clear to them despite making a lot of efforts. So what the author has told in this first is the sadhyam, or the goal, has been explained. The sadhanam has not been explained, or the method of how to achieve is not explained so far. So he explains that in verse number 2 and 3. So first section is called sadhyam, and the second section is called sadhanam. So when he says na prapta adhunapi, means samyang jananti te. So here we must not take that, the author is criticizing us that you people don't know anything. And he makes a statement, sarve janna britaha, means all the human beings. So he makes a statement which is saying that all the people here, or the human beings, they are not very clear. So it should not be taken as that, oh, how can he say like this? I do not know. I know myself very well. I am so and so person. I am a learned person. So that's what he says here. That the moment you have all these wrong notions, that means you are not very clear about what it is there. So this is where we stopped last time. Right? Nityananda Sukham Padam Suvimalam Praptum Samiha Yutaha Sarve Janna Britas Sadha Vyasaninaha Tatstana Sammarghane Evam Satyapi Sadhya Sadhana Yugam Samyang na jananti te na prapta adunapi saukya padavi swabishta rupam yataha. So now we go to the second verse. So the second verse is an introduction to the third sloka. The second verse is an introduction to the third sloka. So the author actually sets the tone. So from number 2 and 3 is called sadhanam. Tat praptyai prabhu samhitapi kripaya. Tat praptyai prabhu samhitapi kripaya. Trayanta saranvitaha. Tat prapyai prabhu sampitapi kripaya. Trayanta saranvitaha. Valli kataka madhyaga kavisamam. Valli kataka madhyaga kavisamam. Protsahayanti naran. Evam sadhana kalpanam rachayate. Sanmargaganam satham. Tadvishnu paramam padam cha sahasa. Gantum manishavatam. Tat praptyai prabhu sammitapi kripaya. Trayanta saranvitaha. Valli kataka madhyaga kavisamam. Protsahayanti naran. Evam sadhana kalpanam rachayate. Sanmargaganam satham. Tadvishnu paramam padam cha sahasa. Gantum manishavatam. So here the concept of Veda is introduced. So the first one we saw was the sadhyam, or the one to be achieved, the goal to be achieved. So naturally, when the goal has to be achieved, the next question is, how do we achieve the goal? Is a question. Correct. So thereby the author introduces here the Veda as a consultant. So the Veda here is actually a consultant without any consultancy charges. You will not get any bill. You won't get any invoice from anybody, because certainly I don't invoice you. So you are free. Knowledge is free. So it's free advice and free information, free knowledge. Because Veda is supposed to be free. So even the Rishi, the Bhagavan did not charge the Rishis for getting jnana. The Rishis also did not charge anybody for Adi Shankara for anything. Adi Shankara didn't charge anything. So the parampara continues that we do not, as a principle, we do not charge anything for teaching. But what is important from you is your time, and time is money. Right? So time is money because you are calculating, you need to establish whether the time you're spending is worth, and is it something which you want to do. So that's why he says here that the Veda is introduced here as consultant. And here the Veda, or this refers to Kathopanishad. See, Kataka Madhyagha. See, Valli Katakam Madhyagha. So Katakam means the Kathopanishad is mentioned here. So the author actually quotes from Kathopanishad, or a section from the Kathopanishad is being discussed. So I'm going to give you an overview today, and then we'll go into the meaning so that you understand what I'm talking about. So Prabhu Samhita. So if you look at the first line, Prabhu Samhita. Right? So the first one is called, see, Veda itself has got three different ways of teaching this method, or you can use method. So first is called Prabhu Samhita. Means, Prabhu means what? Master or a controller. Prabhu means an overlordship, or a person who is somebody who is governing officer. It's called Prabhu. Right? Prabhu, Vibhuhu, they're all same. The commander. Right? So Veda is called Prabhu because it commands people to follow. See, Vedas, what does it do? It commands people to follow. That means you have to do this, you do this. And Upanishads, what they do, they are very cryptic, they just tell you. Upanishads do not have something called a very nice way of saying things. They just tell, if you don't do this, you will not get benefit. You will get punyam and papam. Right? So that is why the Upanishad is called Prabhu Samhita. Correct? So Prabhu Samhita, the Veda, is called because it tells you do's and don'ts, or you will get Pratyavaya dosha. See, dosha itself called Pratyavaya means what? Dosha which you acquire by not doing certain things. It's called Pratyavaya dosha. Then we have second called Smriti. Smriti. So Smriti is what? It's like a friend. Smriti is like a friend. So it does not give you threats. It doesn't give you, direct command. So what it tells you is that, see, this is not good for you. I recommend that you do this. According to me, this is what is required for you. This is called Smriti Samhita, or also called Suhrta Samhita. Suhrta. See, Suhrta means what? For the benefit. For the benefit of you, this is being, I'm telling you this. So the other Upanishad, like the Prabhu Samhita, tell you that you should do this, or you should not do this. The Smriti Samhita, what does it tell you? It tells you that you better do this. Like the Bhagavad Gita, what does it say? See, if you do this, is better for you. If you don't do this, it's up to you. You can follow Karma Yoga if you want. You can follow Bhakti Yoga if you want. You can follow Dhyana Yoga if you want. But I think for you, it's better. The Karma Yoga is better. That's what. See, he gives you lots of options. He teaches so many things to you. You can choose what you think is right for you. And I'm here to help you. So there the Smriti is actually as a friend. Right? Shruti Smriti Purana Nam. See when I do the mantra, Shruti Smriti Purana Nam Alayam Karunalayam. So Shruti Smriti Purana. Right? So then the third group of literature we call is Kanta Samhita. Kanta Samhita. So Prabhu Samhita, Smriti Samhita, and Kanta Samhita. So Kanta means what? Attraction, love. Right? So it has got a very affectionate and it's a loving nature, just like the wife or the mother who always is of a loving nature. And why does it do? Because the mother first tells the child that you should do this, or first of all tells you do this, please. He tells like this. The child says, no, I won't do this. So the mother doesn't actually order again. What is this? See, can you do this for me, Kanna? Can you do this? Can you please do this? I will take you to the park. So what does it do? The mother tries another way of doing things. And let me tell you a story, or I'll tell you something about something interesting, why you should do this. So the Kanta Samhita is the Puranas. So the Purana and the Puranas, there are stories, correct? So there are various stories which tell about how to attract or how to keep the person interested, correct? So it is called infotainment. So information plus entertainment. So there is information given and also entertainment, because the stories tell what? One day there was a king. The king went through the forest. All these are stories. So the Purana, Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana, all the Puranas are there. They give you, the Puranas give you a view about how a story is narrated. And to the story, a message is given. Right? So the mother also sometimes, when you're, I don't know if you're, especially children, when they are very small, they don't eat food or they behave very naughty. What do? They tell them, I'll tell you a story about this moon, Chanda Mama, or I'll tell you a story about this great Rakshasa or some god, something. So what does it do when the person is saying something? Again, puts food in the mouth. You open the mouth. So that's how they fed, because the children are watching. So Purana also is like this, right? So it's a very affectionate way of saying things. So you got Prabhu Samhita, which is ordering, Smriti Samhita, which is suggesting to you as a friend. He puts a shoulder in your hand and says that, let's walk together and I'll take you there. If you don't follow that, then what do you say? Okay, I'll give you some story for you to follow. And from the story, see if you can understand what it is. Right? So here the Veda itself actually comes down in this particular Jiva Yatra. The Veda itself, the Upanishad itself comes down from the Prabhu Samhita to Purana level. It actually comes down to that level, because not many Upanishads do that. Only Kathopanishad does it. And 70% of the mantras from the Kathopanishad are in the Bhagavad Gita. So here, the Kathopanishad, if you look at here, Kataka Madhyagha Valli, correct? So the Kathopanishad has got 2 chapters called Adhyayaha. So Kathopanishad has got 2 chapters called Adhyayaha. So Adhyaya means 2 sections. And each chapter is divided into 3 sections. Kandaha, 3 sections. So 3 into 2, 6. Correct? So 6 sections are there in the Upanishad. And each section is called a Valli. Valli, see the word there, Valli Kataka Madhyagha. So Madhyagha means what? The middle section. So the author in 2 verses summarizes the first chapter. So verse number 2 and 3, he summarizes the content of the first chapter of the Upanishad, Kathopanishad. So by learning this, you are also understanding what Kathopanishad is also. And this particular mantra is taken as an example for establishing or introducing the Guru and Shishya. The Guru and Shishya. The Kathopanishad introduces the Guru Shishya Sambandha or relationship. So the Upanishad actually opens with the story of a great Brahmana. There was a very, very great Brahmana. See now, because if I tell you Upanishad, like you'll all run away because you have to do this. Moksha means your ultimate objective. If I tell like this, if you don't get moksha, you will get papam. Then what you will do? You will actually start thinking, shivering. No, what is this? And that's why we are taking a different approach. So we'll narrate a story, and through the story, the message is given. Right? So here also the Kathopanishad uses a story. And the story is interesting because there was a very famous Brahmana called Vajravas. So you don't have to make notes, just listen. Okay, interesting. So it's a very great Brahmana, very, very known Brahmana called Vajravas. And he was a very rich person because the Brahmana he is very known to people, and people are donating a lot of money to him. He had cows, he had cattle, he had sheep, goat, so many things he had. And he had a son called Nachiketa. He had a son also called Nachiketa. And he was doing one yagam, very famous yagam, called Vishwajit Yagaha. Vishwajit Yagaha. So Vishwajit means what? Capturing of the Vishwa. Or Jitaha means what? Victory. And Vishwa means what? The universe. So the one who captures the universe or the one who is master of the universe is called Vishwajit. And who is the Vishwajit? He is Indra. So he is the one sitting in the loka there, who is the one who governing that all this. So he wanted to go to this superior lokam, and for that he had started his yaga, this whole thing. And it requires, that yagam requires one to forgo most of the belongings. Like one has to donate all the belongings because you cannot go there with all the cow, sheep, etc. So you have to donate them. So when he starts the yagam, and then the young boy, Nachiketa, is watching there. All the brahmanas, a lot of brahmanas come because it's a very long process. It can take 1 or 2 years also to do the yagam. And in the process of doing the yagam or the ritual, one has to donate. So he keeps donating clothes, all things, he donates everything. Then the term comes to cattle. So he starts to first, donate all the weak cattle, the cattle which is actually weak and frail looking, and then like cattle cannot give any milk anymore, etc. They are liability. Or those cow which cannot be given to anybody. So even though he's a Brahmana also, he's also very particular about what to give. Because nobody wants to give away good things. See, if somebody asks you, can you give me the most dearest thing what you have? He said, no, I can't give that to you. I will give only what is I don't use. Correct? You only give what you don't want to. You'll never give what you really want. Right? Because that's something for you, happiness. So you'll always give away those things which doesn't give you happiness. Same message is given here. Nityananda Sukham Srimanam Praptum Samihayutaha. So there also, he is giving away those things which does not give happiness. So there is no problem because it doesn't give happiness, so it's okay, it doesn't pain you. But if a good cow which is yielding milk, and then ghee and butter and everything else, one would not part with it. So this Nachiketa is watching. And he's a very sharp, boy. And because he has learned from his father chanting and meaning everything, he is also Brahmana boy, so young brahmachari. So one day he asks his father, can I ask you a question? He said, yes, you can ask a question. Why are you donating all these clothes which you don't use? Why are you donating all these things, which are frail looking cows, which when you cannot use it, why can other people can use it? When you yourself don't want this, how can you expect other people to also use it? And that too, you're doing this for a great cause. You're going to go to this loka, and then you're doing all these things. So the father says, I'm very busy right now. Don't ask me these questions. I'll talk to you later. And your child, you don't understand all these things, what I'm trying to do. Again, after some days, again, Nachiketa, again restless. He asks, I asked you last week, and again, the same thing again here, I want to ask the same question. Again, the person says, the Brahmana says, my child, you don't interfere in my yagam. I know what I'm doing. All these things are, I don't need them. We have to give them away. And I'm giving them away so that we don't need all these things anymore. So that way. Then he asks the question, why? That's exactly what I'm asking you. Why are you giving away things which you don't want, rather than you should give away things which you really dear, you hold dear to it. You should want to give that. And then he gets very angry with the boy. He says, you go to hell. I don't. So Jikata really gets, because the father said in the olden days, when the yagam is going on, when the Brahmana utters something, it becomes true. So go to hell means what? You go to Yama Dharmaraja. That's what it is. So because he's a tapasvi and he meditates on Yama, and then he goes to Yamaloka. He says, Dad, you offered me to Yamaloka and I'm going now. So the father cries. He said, no, I didn't mean that. I tell go to hell means I said, go and do something else, but don't take it seriously. Correct. But this boy was very, he knows what exactly he wanted because he had that tejas in him. He had that brilliance in him and he was seeking that. So he goes to Yamaloka and then he waits there. So he asks, I want to see Yamadharmaraja. So the other people are saying that, no, he has gone for tour. There are some people who are about to be, taken away. So he is busy going out, taking the lives of people there. So he says, I will wait. So he waits for 2 weeks. Somebody comes and gives water to him. He says he doesn't want water. I want to see Yama first, then only I will have any water. So Vairagyam is very strong because he has come to see, because he has been banished into hell, right? So he wants to know what is that. Then finally, after so many times, Yama comes and then he sees the boy sitting there. So he asks everybody, why is this boy sitting here? He's not even due. He's not supposed to be here. His time is still a lot of time is there. So he asked, why do you sit here? He said, my father is doing this yajna and he had told me to come and go to hell. So I come here to you. He said, you are the person who gives death. So now I'm in disposal. He says, no, you have come too early. I cannot do anything for you. You go back. He says, no, I cannot go back because my father has told me to go. I cannot go back. But then he says, he tries to convince so many things, he doesn't want to go back. Then Yama says, I'll give you 3 boons. You ask. So I'll give you 3 boons. The first boon he asks is that you make my father happy. You make my father understand that whatever he's doing, he's not happy with what he's doing and he's not comfortable. And I want him to be happy, so you make him happy. So Yama blesses him saying that, okay, yes, we will make him happy, we'll make him understand why he's doing that. The second thing he asks is, I want all the people there, the community there to be happy and they have to be self-satisfied. Okay. Then the third thing he asked, he said, what is the third thing? He said, I've given you 2 things. He said, no, the third thing I want is I want to have moksha. I want to be free. So Yama is taken back by this question. This young boy who's only 12-year-old boy is coming and knocking at a door and then asking this question about moksha. What is this? He says, see, you are a small boy. You do not know what you're talking about. You are a moksha. It's a big word. Moksha is something. Why do you want moksha first of all? He says, no, that's what I wanted. So Yama tries to convince him. He says, look, how about I give you, I make richest person in the world. I'll make you richest person. I'll give you all the wealth which is required. So you'll be the most prominent person in the community and you can go back and enjoy everything. Nachiketa says, I don't want that. He tempts more, saying that I will give you permanent eternity. I'll give you Shiranjeevi. That means what? You will not die at all. How about like this? That you don't die at all and you can enjoy life forever. He says, I'm not interested also in that. how would I, give you Indraloka? You go to Indraloka and you can enjoy all the luxuries of Indraloka. That is the highest I can give you. He says, I don't want that. So now Yama is actually in a difficult situation because he cannot take the life of this young boy. He cannot also give him what he wants because it is whenever something is asked, right? Do you want moksha? You need to be absolutely clear that I want that only. If you are given choice, say you want moksham or you want riches you want or you want to go into Loka, what will you prefer? If your mind is not ready, what is it? Temporarily I'll take riches. For the moment, next 10 years I'll take all the riches. Then I will probably enjoy and then I'll decide if I want to take Indraloka or not. But at the first instant, would you say that I want moksha? I don't want any money at all. I don't want to be rich at all. I don't want, you'll never say, right? I don't want. You always say I want it. Because what you want to try first. Who is, but this person is very strange, Nachiketa. So he finally convinces Yama that, and Yama teaches him all those things, finally. And that's the story, that's exactly what has happened, where the Upanishad comes down from a level where it says, you are not fit for this. Because what Yama is saying, Yama is the one who is the teacher there, he's a guru in Kathopanishad. And the Shishya is Nachiketa. And the Upanishad says that you are not fit for this, you cannot achieve this, you are not ready for this. But then from that level, it comes down to a lower level where it explains the story saying that this is what all these things he says, presents to you. And then now it is actually for you to understand that this is what's important. So once Vairagyam has to be there, once commitment has to be there, then only you will be able to appreciate what it is. So same thing here, same here. Now we look at the verse, you'll see this. See, Trayanta Saran Vitaha. See, so Traya means what? Three Vedas. That is the essence of the three Vedas. And what Rig, Yajur, Sama Veda, correct? All of them. So all the three Vedas are there. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda. So Saran means what? Saram means essence, correct? So the essence means the subject matter is presented as the Prabhu Samhita. So Prabhu Samhita means the Upanishad is presented here, the Veda is presented here in the form of the essence of the Upanishads. And for what it is presented here, Protsahayanti. So Protsahana means what? Encourage. So Protsahayanti. So look at the second line. Protsahayanti Naran. That means what? For the people, for the benefit of the people, for the humans, they have to be encouraged. They have to be, told that this is what is happening. This is how it was like this. So they have to be encouraged to study. See, there should be some motive for them to study, right? There should be some incentive for them to go for it. So Protsahayanti. So it encourages. Then Naran means what? The human beings. Okay, Naran. Then Valli Kataka Madhyagha means it is in the middle of the Kathopanishad. This story is, this section is in the middle of the Kathopanishad. So as I told you, Valli, is a section, correct? And Kataka Madhyagha. So Kataka means what? Katake means Kathopanishad. Okay. Katake means Kathopanishad. Madhyagha means in the middle of the section. Kavi Samam. See, Kavi means what? Here, Kavi means wise person. Okay. And Samam means equal to wise person. So Kavi Samam here means the Upanishad here comes down in the form of wise person or a friend, you can say this. So even though Prabhu Samhita api, even though the Upanishad is of the nature of Prabhu Samhita, means governing or ordering nature, even though it's still for Protsahanti Naran, for the benefit of the people, for encouraging the people, it comes down with Kripaya, means with, correct, with love and affection, and for benefit of this Kavi Samam. So Kavi Samam means what? As the friend or as a wise person, it comes down. See, no other Upanishad you will find this. Only in Katha Upanishad you will find this dialogue between Yama and Nachiketa, where there's a very beautiful dialogue. It's like a guru and Shishya, the son and the father. Like I was a very young boy, and very young boy asking for moksha. And what do you do? If you take, let's say that if you are only a 12-year-old boy, and you ask your mother that I want to take sannyasa, or a father, I want to go, what will you do there? The father, supposing the father and mother, they are knowledgeable, they are wise people, they know what he's talking about. Supposing they themselves don't know, they say go to another person and ask. Right? Here, Yama Dharmaraja knows he's a wise person. He's a very great jnani, very great jnani. Even though he's supposed to be a dangerous person or the person who takes lives, Yama is actually a very, very nice person. He's a very great jnani also. And that's why he listens to this. So he says here, Kavi Samam. Correct. And Kripaya means what? Out of love and affection. So out of love and affection for the Naran, for the human beings, and to protsahayanti, to encourage the people to pursue what they want. What is they want? Sadhyam. Nityananda Sukham Suvimalam Padam. So always remember you have to add that. So the encouragement is given for what? Not for material wealth. It is for Nityananda Sukham Suvimalam Padam. Praptum Samiha Yutaha. Right. So everybody wants happiness, and for happiness to be pursued, to be understood, the Upanishad comes down, and out of love and affection, it presents the essence of the Upanishad in the form of Kataka Upanishad, and it is in this section called Valli. How does it come? Kavi Samam, in the form of a friend, and to encourage Protsahanti Naran. Right. Then what does it do? Sanmargaghanam. See, Satham. Sanmargaghanam Satham means what? For the people who are Sanmarga. Marga means the path. And Sanmarga means the righteous path. Sanmarga means righteous path. For the people who are following the righteous path, Sadhana Kalpanam Rachayate. See, Sadhana Kalpana means what? The means for achieving is being presented. So, Rachayate means what? Presented or being created here. So, this section talks about for the people. Whose people? Naran Sanmarga Ghanam Satha. So, for the benefit of Naran and to Protsahanti Naran, Sanmarga Ghanam Satam Naran. For the benefit of the people who are following the righteous path, for them, Evam Sadhana Kalpanam Rachayate. Means the Veda presents here the means for achieving this knowledge or achieving this sadhyam. Correct? Sadhyam. And how is this? Tad Vishnoho. So that Vishnoho. So Tad means what? That Vishnoho or that Vishnu, who is of the nature of Paramam Padam. So Paramam means what? Ultimate. And Padam means what? That which is takes you to that Paramam. See, padam means the steps, the tiny steps you take, correct? So, padam means padyate aneneti padam. That means the feet. So, with feet, what do? You actually, the feet takes you to the destination. So, here also, paramam padam tad vishnoho. Means it takes you to that Vishnu, which is the nature of paramam padam. So, what is the purpose of this? Tat praptyehi. See the first word, first tat praptyehi. So, for achieving that, tat praptyehi, and what is the tat Vishnu paramam padam? And sahasa gantum. Sahasa gantum. So it means what? Not delayed. Sahasa gantum means what? Immediately available. So it's not that you keep studying for long, somebody tells you, I mean, I am telling you it takes 12 years for you to know. It doesn't mean that 12 years you study. Or you can still keep studying for as long as you want, because we tend to forget. So it is like, if you go to university, you study BCom or MCom, and you study for a degree because you want to pass the exam, correct? So what do? You study only what is required to study the exam. You pass the exam, you get first class, and then you keep the book out separately, correct? Here also, in our class also, you come to this class every Wednesday, then Jivayatra goes into the back burner. It will go into some shelf somewhere there. And then next week's, oh my God, today, 7 o'clock, you remember there's a class today. So you are looking for the paper, frantically looking for the notebook, notes you have taken, and you can't find it. So that is why Vanasava practice. That's why it says here what? Sahasa gantum means what? If you are systematic and if you have the right approach, you have the right method, and if you are led by a friend, Kavisamam, and you encourage Protsahayanti Naran and Sarmarga Ganam Sata, then Tat Praptyai Sahasa Gantum. So then you will be able to achieve this very quickly. And what is Manisha? So again, another qualification. Manisha means for those people who are curious or who are interested to know only. So Manisha means the people who are interested, the people who are motivated and who are serious about it, only for those people the Upanishad will be of encouragement. Correct. So unless you have a natural interest, you have a natural desire, you will not be able to benefit from anything. You will have all books in your libraries. Sometimes when people come, you see, I got all the collection of Upanishad books. All Bhagavad Gita books are there. All Tamil textbooks are there. Tirukkural, everything, Tirumular, Tirumandiram, Tiruvachakam, everything is there. He said, how many have you studied? See, don't ask me these questions. I like to collect those things and leave it there. Have you read the book, opened the book? No. When was the last time you opened the book? 10 years ago, I think you bought the book. I opened the book to see what it is. After that, I never touched the book. So that's what it says here. Manisha Vatam means Sahasa Gantum Manisha Vatam. For the people who are committed, for the people who are sincere, who really know what they want, for them, Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Cha Sahasa Gantum. So you will immediately gain the results. You do not have to wait for long to get the results. So this essence of he sets the tone for the third sloka. So what is present here in nutshell is the essence of the Upanishad being a means of knowledge. Sadhyam is the one to be attained. Sadhya sadhana sambandhaha. Sadhya sadhanam should be there. Sadhyam should be known first. See, without knowing the Lakshyam, how can you know what things to acquire? See, if you do not know that you want to go to New Delhi, you don't know which train to take also. Where to go and buy a ticket also you will not know. Even if you know to go to the station called New Delhi you want to go, and somebody said you go to this station and buy a ticket, you just go and buy a ticket. And you go and get down, taking some other train there. You think that can take your train there. Then later on you realize what? Oh my God, I took the wrong train. So either you get down there, you take the train back, take another train, or what do? You say, forget about it. I'm not going to Delhi now. I'm going to get down here and then explore what it is there. So you go down to get down Gujarat and enjoy there. So what it means is that you should know a destination, number one. You must be very clear that you want to attain that, you want to go to that place, and I may get down many times, but I still have to get up into the same train and travel. So even if you study consecutively a long time, you may be having in between breaks, etc., but you must be consistent. You must be on the same train, you should get back into this. You must not get down and then wander around saying that, oh, forget about it. That's what it says here, what? Manishavatam, for the people who are committed. And Jiva Yatra, when you say Yatra means journey. Correct? So, Tat Praptyai Prabhu Samhita Pikripaya Trayanta Saran Vitaha Valli Kataka Madhyaga Kavisamam Protsahayanti Naran Evam Sadhana Kalpanam Rachayate Sanmargaghanam Satham Tadvishnu Paramam Padam Cha Sahasa Ghantum Manishavata. Is this clear? Anyone has got any questions? Anything which you didn't understand? Any verse or any word? Kushalji, all okay? Can unmute.
Yeah, it's okay. It's I'll read it again tomorrow and connect everything.
But you're getting
There's
the message of it. You're getting the essence of it, right? Essence of it.
Yeah.
So what it talks about is number one, sadhyam. You have to know the destination. You have to know the means. So what are the means? The Upanishad is the means. For the Upanishad also you need a guru. And you should be a Shishya. You should have that relationship continuing there. And that is how it is transmitted. That is how it is learned. Just like when you go to the university also, there's a teacher. You cannot go to the university in a blank hall, sit there, somebody will come and teach you. There should be a teacher available to you and you must be ready to listen to the teacher. If you already go with the premonation that I know everything, then the teacher will not be able to contribute anything because you are already fighting with your own emotional ideas that you already know. So before he or she starts telling, you're already asking questions, you're already framing questions, you're forming your own thoughts. So the information passed by the wise person, Kavisamam, is not passed on to you. So that's why we must actually leave all the baggage out there. So whenever we go to school, what do? We leave all the baggage out there. We leave it out there. We go as free baggage, nothing there. And then you take all the things are there. You can always collect the baggage later on because nobody is going to take the baggage from you. But if you already go with existing things, you cannot load more things to that because there's only capacity this much. That is why always, whenever you come to any class, this is what I was told in the first opening class 14 years ago. When I first started, he said that you leave everything out. When you come into the hall, into the Gurukulam, you don't bring anything, you don't just come plain mind. So then absorption becomes easier. If you keep reading and if you bring your own ideas and books and other thing else, and you start half reading, then you get some idea, oh, this could be like this could be like this. That's what it says here, that Tat Prapte Prabhu Samhitapi. So Prabhu Samhita, Smriti Samhita, and Kanta Samhita. Three things are there. So the Kanta Samhita is the one which is talked about here. But here, Prabhu Samhita is the one which is coming down from that level. Kavi Samam for what? Kripaya, for with loving affection, for Kripaya, for the benefit of the people. Kavi Samam Protsahayanti Naran, for encouragement of the people, for the Sanmarga Ghanam Satham, for the people who are already on the path of righteous path, and for the people who are Manishavatham, so who are really motivated, who are really interested to follow this path. For them, this is the method being prescribed. Is it clear? Srikanji, is it clear? Okay. So next class, we are going to see verse number 3. And verse number 3 is a very beautiful illustration of how the Kathopanishad introduces the concept of how this has to be achieved. So in this example, it talks about the chariot and the horses is being explained here. So which we'll see in next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tatsat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste and Shubhratri to all of you. For the people who are coming to tomorrow's class, Narayana Suttam, we will meet you tomorrow. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.